Liverpool versus everybody. And I'm sorry, I gotta give a shout out and condolences to Southampton Football Club. 9-0 at St. Mary's. And, my prayers just go out to that fan base because what in the world, in the rain at St. Mary's, 9-0? Hasselhout, whatever. What happened, bruh? What happened at St. Mary's? Here's the thing. That team right now, the whole team, from the backroom staff to the women who cook the meals in the cafeteria, the kitchen, whatever you want to call it, the guy who greets you at the training pitch, all of them need to pack up and just go to church and repent for your sins. And I know that God or Allah or Buddha or whoever it is that you pray to, they're supposed to be all forgiving gods and all that. Bro, I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. There's no coming back from this. And the coach has to take a great deal of responsibility for this, because the way Leicester was knifing and dicing through their defense like that, bruh, there's no more football at that point. After 3-0, no more football. Sorry. You don't play football anymore. You just get everybody behind the ball, the 10 men you got, and you defend for your life. There's no excuse for that. And if he turns this around, more power to him. It might be the greatest thing he's ever done. But shout out to the guy who runs the Southampton fan channel. I think it's called The Ugly Inside. A very fitting name. It's definitely Ugly Inside. Man, to me, look. And I, every week I kind of make up score predictions for myself. I just write them down. And I actually had this game finishing 2-2. But shout out to Leicester, man. They really put a punishing on this team. I mean, to let two dudes get hat tricks against you, are you kidding me? From now on, that Southampton kit, the badge, I think it's like a saint, or whatever the badge is, it needs to be now the number 9 with the blue circle around it. They need to do that now. I don't know. I think Under Armour makes their uniforms. Under Armour, if you're listening, get your fabric together. Pay the money. I don't care how much money. Don't be cheap. Pay the money for the fabric. Make the kits. Change Southampton's colors to blue. You can keep the red if you want. Blue and red, they got to be blue. And have that number 9 with the circle around it. That's what they need to represent for the rest of their existence, till the end of time. You don't lose 9-0. I don't care if you had 8 men. You don't lose 9-0. That's just atrocious. So just want to start off with that, because that just needs to be talked about. Anyway, Tottenham Hotspur, led by the Argentine Marco Silva, and again, Everton today. Anyway, they come to the field. And as we all know, Liverpool just don't lose at the field. They don't do it. And so that's not going to happen, I don't think. What I do think is going to be a tough game, though. And I say that because we're Liverpool. And being European champions, being the threat that we are in England, and the threat that we're seriously becoming on the world stage, if not already, we're going to get everybody's best shot. That's just the fact of the matter. If you look back all the games in the league this season, even games when we've put heavy points up on teams, we've still gotten probably some of the best performances from these teams. And that's going to continue. So as broken as Spurs are, as all the issues allegedly that they have, and the beef that some guys may have with the manager, and I mean, Danny Rose to me is one of the best players on their team, but even he, as far as some of the supporters, in their minds, he just isn't stepping up. So this is Liverpool Tottenham, though. They will come to play. They will come to play. And so we need to be prepared for that. In all ways, and I think some of the supporters who are getting really gun-ho about and excited about the midfield that we saw against Genk, pump your damn brakes, okay? To make a video on your channel and say this should be the starting midfield every game, stop. Just don't be ridiculous. Listen, as good as they were in parts of the game, some parts of the games, they weren't great. They just weren't. I shouldn't say they, I just think that didn't work, as being so attacked going forward and then not having much cover in the back. So honestly, I don't think Naby or Ox will start this match. Will they see the pitch? Perhaps. Depends on how the game goes, obviously. But I think it'll be Genie, Fab, and Hendo. Hendo played no minutes, actually, against Genk. I think Genie came on towards the end there, did okay. Fab is a steady hand at the 6, so that'll stay the same. But yeah, we're not going to have Naby and Ox every game, nor would I want that to happen. There's certain games that, yes, you want to see that. I don't think this is the game to see it. So I'd be highly surprised to see Ox and Naby. In fact, I don't want that. I wouldn't see that midfield and think, oh, yeah, I'm excited. That wouldn't excite me. Going forward and attacking, sure. But that's why we have our fullbacks. And you got to believe that the game against United is the game against United. No one was good that game. So to me, we keep playing the way we play with our fullbacks being the distributors, the creative outlets. And against a team like Spurs, I think that's fine. Now, the way the game goes, it'll be telling to see if I'm wrong, and maybe we need to make changes. But we have players that we can make those changes. I don't think you start with such an attacking side. I just don't think so. What I do think, though, is that we do need to. It's important to get goals early, and I mean that's probably a given for most teams. But I think in a game like this, if we can just put them out their misery early, I think that's the best thing to do in a game like this. Like they're already going through some difficult patches. And like I said, I think they will bring their game come tomorrow. But if we can get at them early, get some goals, then I think we'll be fine. As far as Spurs is concerned, their midfield could be a number of different. Their whole formation can be different. I mean, Pochettino has played so many different formations this season that I don't even know what to assume that he's going to do. I mean, he's done everything from 4-3-3 to 4-2-3-1 to 3 at the back. And that's the thing about this Spurs team. For the first time in a long time, they've seemed void of an identity, which is really strange under a Pochettino team. But it is what it is. I do think in the midfield you probably will see Sissoko at least. I think that might be one of the steady hands in the midfield. Will it be him and Winks? Would it be him and Dembele? I think Ochoso is still out. Or is he not? I don't know. Across the front three, I don't think Eriksen's going to play. I don't know if he's hurt or what's going on with that. It probably should be for them. Lucas, Son, obviously Kane, and then probably Dele Alli just in the hole there in the middle in a 10 position. But I want to see some nastiness from Liverpool. I want to see us really, really take the game to Spurs early. And I think that's the best thing to do. This is just my kind of brief view on the game and some other topics that I'll get to. And I'm going to get to Divock Origi. So stay tuned. But I'll try to get on with the guys a little bit later, maybe, and do a bit more in-depth and a more lengthy upload. But yeah, excited about this game, man. Excited about it. Can't wait to see the game tomorrow. And yeah, just want to see Liverpool really, really, really just assert themselves and remind the league that we are here to make some noise. And I think, again, if we can get on them early, I think that's probably the best bet for them. But I do expect a really tight game. I do. The 3s and 4-0 stop. It's just not going to be there. If it is, cool. I'd be slightly surprised if that's the case. I just think because we're Liverpool, Tottenham are going to come to play, and it'll be a tighter game than we think. Matip, Klopp didn't seem, in my opinion, too confident about Matip, but we'll see. If it's not Matip, it's hard for me to say. Gomez hasn't looked great, but you kind of understand it because he hasn't been playing a lot. Lovren, I like Lovren, I do. I just think sometimes he just isn't switched on. And again, as I said in the other video, I think if we're cruising in the game, it's almost the worst thing for Lovren because he'll try to be a Superman and do unnecessary things on the ball that he doesn't have to do. It's almost like he's saying, look how well we're doing. I'm such a big part of this. Instead of just doing his part, which is being a defender, clearing the ball, doing the simple things, he tries to do these amazing, world-class things that whether he can do them or not, they're just not necessary. So just I hope Lovren, if he does play, doesn't do that. If I had to choose, I really don't know, but to give an answer, I would probably go with Gomez. I'd probably go just slightly. I'd probably go with Gomez. I just think Gomez and Van Dijk have proven to be a really, really good match together. And then, again, in a game like this, depending on how the game is going, I just don't trust Lovren. And it comes down to that. I trust Gomez that bit more than Lovren. So that's what I'm going with. Looks like Trent will be fit, ready to go. If he's not, I do not want to see Milner at fullback. I'd rather see Gomez there. I don't really want to see Gomez there, but I'd rather see Gomez over Milner, my opinion. So that's that. I'm going to go with 2-1. I want to see Salah assert himself a bit more, too. He was okay in the game. Obviously, he gets a goal, but he wasn't as good as he needs to be. Look to see Firmino continue his good play, especially from that game. And then Mane usually does pretty well, so I'm not too worried about him. There were some shouts for Robertson not playing well, and he shouldn't play in this game. Sometimes I don't get Liverpool fans, but, it is what it is. Divock Origi. Let's go back. I did a video, probably one of the most viewed videos on the channel, so shout out to the real ones who've been supporting. It was after the first leg of Barcelona. And besides the game, I had a little bit of a rant, and I went at a particular channel for a moment that I decided not to really do. One, because he's not on my mind that much for me to bring him up, and I'm not even going to mention the person's name, so you guys can figure it out if you want. But I mentioned how this guy went on about the whole big cock Divock thing. And shout out to Gareth Roberts from the Anfield Rap, who also I'm not a big supporter of, but I think he was right on the money when he came to the whole idea about Divock Origi and how white people, white men, are just very ignorant to it. And this particular person I'm talking about, who has a YouTube channel, is very ignorant. He continues to be ignorant because you don't apologize, but then say, I don't think people meant that. It's not about what people meant. It's about what's facts. That's a racial thing to say. It is. And you can believe it. You can agree with me or not. Do your own research. It's not my job as a black man to educate you on racism. Find it out for yourself. You find out everything else in the world. Go do some research. Do your homework. Find that out. And just stop being racist and stop being ignorant. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's not, and also it's just not necessary. But, you know, when I say it, it doesn't really hold water for much people. But if a white person says it on the Anfield Rap, then it's like, oh, you sound so eloquent and you were so great when you said that. It's like, I'm glad he said it, but, you know, maybe because he's saying it, people will start to see, you know, so, you know, to give a weak apology and say that I don't think people really meant it. I don't even know if the clown apologized at all. But the big cock, and my thing is this: if the banner never came out, would he really even be bringing it up? Probably not. He would still go on and say it. So he's not the only one. There's several people who've been doing it, and it's one thing for Liverpool fans to come out and say we're not racist, and that's cool. But well, just stop acting like you are, or stop being racist. If you're not racist, then prove that you're not racist, because that is obviously racist. Let alone the children that come to these games, and you have this. It's just ridiculous. Lukaku had gone through it. I'm sure other black players have gone through it. It's just a joke that, you know, particularly, you know, it's really sad and disgraceful to see black people on social media saying it's not a big problem, not a big deal. And a lot of these people are foreign coons, to be honest. And so they, you know, they don't really know what the history of it and what it means for black folks here. They should, but they don't, I guess. But to say like, oh, who would be upset about somebody saying their cock is low? Anyway, let me just move past that. That's enough on that. At the end of the day, it is racist. It is ignorant. It is unnecessary. I don't know what the attraction is for people to bring up other men's private areas in the first place. Anyway, that's just a little bizarre to me. But it is what it is. I digress. Yeah, big win expected at the field. 2-1, I said. And like I said, I'll try to get some guys on here a little bit later. Just doing some work today. Got to do a bit more, but check back in with you guys sooner than later. All right, take it easy.